Welcome once again to Magma Treasures. I'm so happy that you chose this channel. Even if it's one or two people just watching, I love you and I want you to know I'm so grateful. For the new joiner of our community, today I want to share my favorite books in 2022. I started to adopt this culture of reading. For me, it's like therapy. It's one of the ways that I learn in a particular area of life. It's one of the ways that I evolve. I learn to empathize, I learn to communicate, and it's also helpful for the brain. It improves the brain function, meanwhile, as per science. So let's dive in the video in my best books of 2022. Before we dive in to the books and how I feel about them, let's just read something. And it says, use wisdom and understanding to establish your home. Let good sense fill the rooms with priceless treasures. Wisdom brings strength and knowledge gives power. There are two things, that's wisdom and knowledge. And if we all know that knowledge is brought by reading more. Wisdom might come from God. It will come from God eventually. But knowledge, honey, with the help of God, you have to empower yourself. And you can do that by reading, by writing, or by watching a few videos, depending on how you learn better. But for today, let's share the books. My first and best book has always been the Bible. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Christian, but whichever religion you are, I respect it. And for me, a Bible has been like something that I go to, not because the pastor read this verse, not because you need to do this, but I have taken it as a book of life, the one that encourages me, the one that helps me look at the stories of the people in the Bible that were able to persevere. It has taught me, some books talk about ambitions, some books talk about characters. This Bible can teach you much more. Do I read only the Bible as a religion book? No. It is a book that I go to for wisdom, for direction, for courage, for stories of people that have persevered through life, and then also, of course, spirituality. So this is my first one. My other book is Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra, and it says it clearly, a guide to reclaiming yourself. Most of the times we get lost, and one of the reasons we get lost is letting in everybody, anytime, any day, not having your life, not being able to know what do you want exactly, not having a direction of your life, being able to be determined by the ideas of other people. This is one of the ways you can reclaim yourself, in making friendships, in having intimate relationships, and as well at work. It's very helpful, especially the fact that I'm working in Dubai, one of the most diverse cultured country. So it's important for me. It helps me to set my boundaries. And even if I go past the boundary, I get to know because I read this book. One of the things you have to know, that you can set your boundaries, but it's also important that you learn to respect other people's boundaries. So this book helps you to do that. To be honest, I'm still reading it. It's called What I Know For Sure by Oprah Winfrey. This book has a lot of things to learn about clarity, about power, about knowing yourself. It talks about different experiences that the writer went through that can help you as well, because these are daily experiences. To be honest, every chapter I read it twice because I want to be able to learn how to live better, like this book always says. Okay, it helps you to always mind about your needs, and also to remind yourself that this very moment is the only one that you know for sure. and it helps you to live in the everyday moment as well. Many things I can read from this book. Parents, this is called How to Succeed as a Parent. It's by Steve Shock, and it helps you to have some tips to be a good mom. And being a diaspora mom, a mom that doesn't live with their kids, we all know how it's painful. But with this book, it helped me a lot to have some tips on how to connect with your kids even if you're away. The next one is 20 Ways to Make Every Day Better by Joyce Meyer. This is more of how to live your dream on a daily basis, on how you speak, on how you speak positivity to yourself, on how to live every day as it comes, on how to deal with people. It's just one of the books that I keep on the side. I read these books often, again and again. I have so many books, but for me, these have been having a remarkable difference that it has made on my life. I just advise you for one thing before we go on. Get a book that you love. Get a podcast to listen to that you love. And I don't know how you learn. I learned through reading and writing. I didn't know I loved it until I tried it. So all I can say is try and read one book, depending on what you like mostly. And please try Audible. I'm not advertising for Audible, but I'm just saying if you're not a person that reads books, please try Audible. And some of the books that I love, that I've read, are The Alchemist by Paulo. It is a very awesome book. I believe you've read about it. I have Soul by T.D. Jakes, and there's one that is called Get Your Shit Together. That one doesn't deal with pampering at all. It tells you you have to get up and do it, whether you want or not. I have read The Power of Now as well, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, basic book, but very important. See you next time.